Hi, welcome to the show. Hit that like button. This week, we have the PCE data, known for capturing inflation as relevant to businesses. CPI is a source of data based on consumers. PCE is based on businesses. So we're going to keep an eye on this coming out on Friday. CPI only tracks out of the pocket consumer expenditure. PCE includes employer contributions and so on, much bigger data set and looked at over a longer period of time. Check in with the charts where SPY 0.19%, not moving very much, so VIX down 5.24. DJI, industrials, up a little bit. NDX, tech down 0.74. So a depressing effect on tech. But the bank sector woes seemingly getting resolved has led to a lift on other sectors. In terms of select sectors, energy doing the best. Little bit of a let off and steam, no pun intended, previously on XLE, the select sector relevant to energy, because it was looking very, very strong. Part of the cash flowing into that was because of the nature of energy and how it provides a hedge. It's a traditional hedge against inflation. So the potential pause or end to rate hikes has taken a little bit of a dent on the enthusiasm behind XLE until today, when US barrels went to over $70 on crude. What else has moved? Finance, 1.39%, and the worst performing sector, tech. Real estate and communications also not doing fantastical. And we'll check in with the others, popular IBIO up 15.7%, one of the Millionaire maker trades. Let me know if you have got any requests to look at anything in particular. XRP up 6.85%. That'll be on the news. The news charts, if you like. We can get some charts up for sure. I would try to do a camera intro, but we can do charts instead. Charts. That's SPY. So I suppose we'll start on a quick look at, well, we'll just check in with IBIO. It's made it to that first take profit target there if you were entering at these recent lows. If you're looking at this on a longer term trade, 4 hour, got our entry back here. Could gain. If it breaks above these levels, you're looking at it moving towards 556. Huge move there. Water, you got that entry now. The safe one. Not the millions that have been suggested previously, but this safe war. A strong move out of that, 8% today. Oats even continuing. Solo also got a little bit of a reaction from these lows. That's good to see. CHWY, still not moving much. UEIC, got another opportunity on this guy. Had a couple of trades previously, made it past beyond the potential extension. Double bottom, bullish divergence on the low. If this does make it back up, 200 period moving average comes in at 10.76. Wee bit of a trade there. So that's what we're looking at. Anything you guys want me to see, we can also look at these. Yeah, it's Jen there. Yeah, happy birthday, Jen. Good shout, Lisa. Happy birthday, Jen. Got the printer on. You just let me know if you want to see anything. Game stoppy on daily time frame. Couple of different options with the channels that you're looking at here, but so far so good. You've got a 200 period moving average. That's the blue one. 50 simple. That's the red. If I get confused, you guys can keep me straight. Then you can see there 200 has provided resistance on the daily, which isn't all that miraculous. Most of the closes around that area on first approach result in a little bit of a retracement. So as long as you hold the 50 simple, there's the baseline of this other channel and the previous high. So this is a very important horizontal, and that's an interesting moving average, potentially support. And the bottom side of the gap also got its own reason for support if you use this lower channeled basis line. GameStop, a little bit of a pullback post-market, but there's that 200 and price action resting above it at the minute. You can see the 50 simple still below, so a negative splay and no confirmation of the positive trend with respect to moving averages on those time frames. Down on the hourly, you've got that cross positive, but price action is still big gap there. So look to that. AMC. In the doldrums, AMC, you're looking at 413 holding. If it doesn't, oof, you'll be down at 340. If that doesn't hold back down, test this overall low. The AMC wouldn't be moving at all when GameStop's moving a bit. Isn't particularly great news for it, but sure, that's not all that interesting. AMC and GME are interesting at certain times. The Millionaire maker trades, they're interesting all the time. 15%, 8.6%. What else has been up recently? Got 9% on Hall of Fame Resort Entertainment Company. CEI making little bits of moves. Could turn into something interesting. What about DWAC blast from the past here? 5.5%. VBIV coming in there. Bit of a trend line on RSI. Daily time frame would be straight line down a ways. Bit of a heartbeat. If you hold those previous lows and body close, be interesting. If not, you come back down, test that 0.24 again. Oof, shocking. AHT made it to the 1618. Got a little bit of a gap, but it looks interesting. AHT this year could be good for it if the markets have bottomed. Then I think a lot of different instruments of a similar nature will be doing very well. Right, so there's loads of good news there. The bad news, probably these sort of things. I know everybody gets upset when DT moves. It's down 37%. What a nightmare. Mind you, what they actually do is a mystery. And then, what else has been down? Coinbase isn't doing too good. It's not on this list, but it's not doing too good. There it is, actually. 7.8%, little bit of a gap, catching that 250 simple gone through. They would be tested, you know, Golden Cross would be tested like that, so not a huge surprise. And what else? Ba-jumba-jumbooms. Ba-jumba-jumbooms. Yeah, the ticker's on the right here beside the price. Good shout, Charlotte. Tickers on the price. We're trying to find different places to put things and make it so it's clearer so that everybody can see as good as possible. Do strive for consistency, but we find it in other areas. Flugages. You want to look at Flugages? Flugagigas? Flora Growth Corp. KT is asking about Flora Growth Corp. Phew. Eh? Nothing to add since my previous chat on it. It's come in, had that move from 0.2645, took us all the way up to 100% target there, got a cover. And price action then came down. We had a mini long from 0.364 to 0.445. So good double digit, was that 30 odd percent there. And then take profit, still left with our cover. I mean, I say cover, but like took 75% of the profit on this guy having it target free. And then you're down looking at a potential entry. Ideally, you know, the best possible entry would be a low, a little bit beyond this guy. But then the trend on this thing might continue to the downside. So really, it's not a good trend at the minute down there. 4 hour time frame, you can see a little bit of a gap, you know, 0.25. Aiming for there from here doesn't really give you much of a risk reward, because the risk is that it goes to 0.187 and your reward's tiny. So tough area to get in there. Oh my goodness, it comes, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, what are you doing? I'm so not used to it, you see. Amanda, $40. You don't have to answer this today. Oh, brilliant! Awesome! Nice one! Wow, this is the best Monday ever. Eh? Only joking. What does it actually say? You don't have to answer this today. But if you had a nest egg and wanted to stick it somewhere safe while you continue to learn to be a good trader, what would be your top suggestions? Not financial advice, because I have no nest egg, and Bitcoin. So, a nest egg. Where would you want to put it if you had a nest egg? It's a big question. So to give the, you know, perfect answer would probably take some consideration. I mean, there's the obvious take on things. Like, just because it's arrived in one chunk doesn't mean that you direct all of it to one investment. And if you're looking to, you know, you call it a nest egg and you give it an identity, and I take from that identity that you care about this thing and it's for the long term, right? Like, it's like a little, so you want it to have the best possible long term, which would mean that when we say best possible, we're talking about the lowest possible risk while still returning a significant, you know, yield. And so it might be that you're looking for a split between passive income, like yielding assets, and growth from capital increases through trading, right? Might be investing and or trading alongside passive income. So that might be what you're thinking, in which case you want to have passive income, which would be low risk. And as such, you've got another question to ask, like, how much time is this nest egg going to be deployed in order to generate a return? What is the horizon on it? And as such, it might be that you're thinking, well, 10, 20, 30, 40 years. This sort of perspective, then these areas in the stock market would be quite good value compared to, just go to SPY. I mean, this Florida Golf Corp, you really want to be waiting for it to come back and test these previous lows. If you are looking for an entry now, it's just catching a knife, because this thing's been trending down in around 886. If it breaks 0.2236, that's dangerous. If it does start moving up, then, you know, manage your risk at this immediate low here. You're in the bearish control zone. You've got no bullish divergence down early. You've got a touch of bullish divergence, but you're not out of the bearish control zone. Your net moving averages have crossed. You don't have any gaps here, so I'm not particularly enthusiastic about it at this particular minute. There's nothing exciting happening there. So if you're looking at something like SPY, it derives like long-term, you get dividends, you know, so, and you can just constantly reinvest those dividends, and that's like a simple way of growing your account. And a lot of people would manage their return against index accounts, you know, so like a money fund would typically 90% of them would lose compared to SPY over 10-year period. So you might be thinking, if you've got no time to learn to do it yourself, which you obviously have learned quite significantly so far, then, you know, you maybe be just chucking it into some fund and then paying the fees and making somebody else rich alongside yourself. But if you want to do it yourself, then SPY at these levels, put it on the weekly time frame, you know, you're buying it back below the 50 simple, close to the 200 period moving average. Anytime you bought it close to the 200 period moving average, it's tended to make people money. So, you know, this is not saying buy SPY. That would be a very rudimentary take on what I'm saying, but it does point to overall levels of value in the stock market relative to the trend that you go through on this long, big, high time frame. But yeah, I'll answer that question better. Shortly in the next week, throughout the week, because it's a big donation, isn't it? You know, $40. Answer this question properly throughout the week. Bitcoin, what are we looking at here? Bitcoin futures, 26,980. Sound. This market's closed. So the market's closed there. Futures, top side of this thing looks like a bit of a megaphone. You could draw it like that if you wanted. Extend those two guys, but really it's all about the horizontals. And you've made it to very close to the second target on this guy. Where is that? 29.12. Oh, you made it there. Did you? Just zoom this in. Zoomy. 29.470. You didn't quite make it, did ya? Wowie. Right, and now what's this? Is it loosely divergent? No, and you're in the bearish control zone. No, you're not, but you're below the center line there. That's not fabulous. Daily time frame. Daily time frame. Did I also see something else before there? Amanda, go to win to win. No, I missed anything for you. Tradespotting, thanks. Tradespotting, will you have a look at MMAT, please? You betcha go win to win. I will do. Just let me have a quick look here. Bitcoin futures. I've got the drawings off. Yeah, cool. Daily time frame. Positive trend. 50 simples gone through the 200. You had the test. That was obviously successful. And we subsequently went through a previous high at 25,615. Relevant because our previous level of resistance was in around there. And then we had a gap, which we filled. A little bit of resistance when we met that, but the retracement not significant enough to take us back below the impulse of which took us here. So if we do manage now to recover and hold these levels, and I say these levels not go anywhere less than, say, on the futures chart here, hold 25,450. That'd be brilliant, 25,350. From this point onwards, especially, you know, if you do go below 24, things might change because you'd lose at that stage the 50 simple on the daily time frame. Maybe stuff would happen. But until then, you know, this is doing well. It's a positive trend with giving people opportunities to re-enter and then panic merchants to jump out at the wrong time, lose money. So you're looking to the technical analysis and not your emotions to provide you with an objective perspective on the charts. And often people will say to you like, markets are really dangerous at the minute. So, you know, focus on how that's really scary and your emotions are as such very irrational and hard to rely on, instead of the objective technical analysis, the chart that presented the information without emotion here in front of you, where you can best manage your risk. And it looks like things are, at the minute, trying to hold that 50 simple and the previous levels of support based on highs and lows within this trend, and the next target to the top side. If it does move up again, Mac futures try to target 32,000. Oh, jeepers. And then on to Bitcoin itself, because that is the futures, or was it? Have I just back at Bitcoin? I'm not sure which one I was just looking at. Was it this I was just looking at? Not many drawings here. Quite Spartan, isn't it? Why 46 the target? Well, that'd be lovely, but I'm not. What's this say then? If this is now confirmed, and I would say it is. You go through. You're looking at 33.2. We try to get a 50% retracement and we see these previous highs, that's very, very possible. So, you know, there's two things you're looking to break through what is resistance, previously support based on this area, which is where price action is at the minute. And if it manages to do so, then you're likely going to find resistance in around here, which is 32,000. Same as we saw in the futures chart. If it was indeed that what we were looking at, break that. 40,000, and then you break there, you're looking at 46. Oof, suits you, sir. Let's just confirm that with these fibs, and what does that look like? I mean, I say confirm, but yeah, golden pocket retracement, 50%, and you're holding the 382 at the minute. That would be very nice. Thanks very much, Amanda. That's appreciated. Go in to win. 20 blabs. 20 blabs. Thank you, Matt. Sorry, I don't know why I'm doing that. Head and shoulders. Here was your measured move. Stop it with your interval. This mousey loves it. Loves it, so it does. So your 236 provided resistance on the left-hand shoulder. You had this formation. This was the target based on, you know, a rough measurement from this high. I suppose you would actually extend that, but, you know, it does a good job of showing you the direction and the extent of the move at a minimum. You managed to exceed this previous low without putting in bullish divergence. You go back and measure it to this previous part within the trend, you'd say sure, but that wasn't the most recent low and taking it out of context by ignoring all these previous ones. So not very enthusiastic right now. Looking left, you've not quite met the previous low, yet you've exceeded all important levels on that Fibonacci, which I'm going to update with this guy because he's got more levels, and you've gone through the 886. Nasty. And you'd be looking for a test of this previous low at 0.42, and that being exceeded and price coming down to 0.25. That'd be a huge chunk. Are these guys in danger of getting delisted? What's the news? Disavows Twitter statement. Okay, that's all difficulty. Didn't need that kind of extra work. The 1 November purchase order from a central bank customer. How very exciting. Right, here's some rocks. Metamaterials to jointly develop something. So what, are they going to get delisted or what? Here's the earnings. Where are these guys listed anyway? On the NASDAQ, and they're 0.46. So potential split on the cards. Their last earnings there were a surprise, but revenue not. So yeah, you might be looking at this thing losing support at the minute, coming down, testing its previous low, exceeding that down to 0.25. That's very, very possible. What does it say on 4 hour? Got any chance of bullish news? Yeah, you got bullish divergence here and you're outside the bearish control zone. That's so far a rejection of the 50 simple itself below the 200. So like nothing exciting there. You've already come and found resistance off that signature, so I'm not excited about that at all. Volatility signature again on this time frame gives you signals every 15 seconds. $10 kitties with a question mark. What did Kitty say? Did I miss it somewhere else? Oh my goodness. Kitties, let me know if you had a question. Thanks very much for that. Appreciate it. So what were we saying? Yeah, head and shoulders, measured move, came back down. I'm not sure if you're really looking at this as an opportunity. It's broken through the 886. It's not made it to its previous low. Sure, it could turn around, but it doesn't have any real reason to. That which looks positive about it most recently has already happened. It's all like it happened now. And that rejection of the 50 simple and 4 hour added to what we saw on daily is crap. 1 hour as low as it is meaningful. Yeah, sure, you got your bullish divergence, but like how many times have you had that? Like all the way through this. Just as you had bearish divergence all the way through the top of this. You have to know, obviously, go on price action first on this thing and then stick to the higher time frames, where ideally even higher than this. Like, this is a bit esoteric, but like maybe you look at it on the weekly. Yeah, like 3 times it's been here. Each of those times it's presented huge opportunity. The thing itself doesn't trend. This also is a massive danger. 1, 2, now, you know, fool me on the third opportunity. MMAT maybe has some long-term flash target. Can't remember off the top of my head. Maybe it does. I've not got the, where's my flash gone? What? How am I doing this? How am I doing this? I am in Jesus, Jeepers Creepers, I am incredible. Oof. You know, nearly Freudian slip there. Nearly. Can you have a nearly for it? Anyway. Bing bong. So what we're looking at, weekly time frame. Yeah, that's a horrible reversal formation. You've come down to your previous low. Obviously, opportunities for a bounce. You've got bullish divergence on the weekly, but you're not seeing that chime with the important time frames below. And it's nasty, you know, it could easily just dip. You'd much rather buy this when it starts moving up. And, you know, it's just awful. It's just awful, you know. Well, where are we going to find the good news? Like, it's, if it does break up, it could get to $1 again. At which stage, anyone who's been buying it at these levels would likely sell a significant chunk of their position. Also, you'd have to wonder about this trend. You know, what's it say with regards to? I've not got any indicators. Why has every indicator disappeared? Is that no? But these are down here. But my labels are off. Oh, the settings have all changed. I'm Tradespotting. What have you been doing? We already read the news. It was crap. Earnings are when? 2 or 3 months. 3 months away. 2 or 3 months away. Friday the 26th of May. A bit late there, me. We're not rushing them out. Kitties, what did you say? Thank you very much. You're a wizard, Jimmy. Thanks, Jordan. Well, hey! A wizard. A what? A wizard. Thanks, Jordan. Thanks, Go to Win. Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, Kitties. Appreciate, eh? Appreciate. Thanks so much for your support on a Monday. Thanks for tuning in. Did you check out the video earlier? We did one on Schwab, which is I thought would be quite interesting and relevant to people. Obviously, there's a lot of eyes on Deutsche Bank. But I thought it was relevant to look at Schwab because they're a brokerage and it's the same dynamic affecting them as it is the banks. But it's not the same problem long term. So a lot of people will be looking at it as less risky as an opportunity. And other people, when they looked recently at Schwab, they thought that aside from this huge hit to the revenue they're going to see on the sweep accounts, that long term there was a lot of value there, partly in the brand. So we'll see how that goes. Minner, yo, how you doing, Minner? Did I miss something? Minner, VIX near 20 again. WISA was nice to me today. Oh, that's good to hear. It's always good to hear good things for yourself. VIX back at nearly 20, is it already? Where are all the here? I just hid down my drawings are here as they are indeed. So you're back below the basis line. That guy. Why is there no actual basis line? So I just said that's a Tradespotting custom made channel, right? We don't go for none of this store bought stuff. Though I would prefer one, as it happens, right? Just take this guy because it gives me a basis line, makes my life easier, and then I don't need two of these. Hello, right? So guitar outside, my friend. You've lost that basis line. You lost all your important moving averages. Daily time frame VIX back at the 50 simple. It's below the 200s. Rejection here. Downward sloping trend. Volatility. Even this trend line on these tiny time frames that comes in here, you could suggest you're turning back to 18. We've been at 18 so very often. Top side of the bearish control zone. That's not necessarily where it bounces. Not in a downtrend. Sure, here. Prices moving to the top side within this downward sloping channel. Still a downtrend. But when prices were moving to the top side here, the low on the RSI was catching the top of the bearish control zone, i.e. never really in the bearish control zone because it was an uptrend. And then on the downtrend here, top side of price action, very rarely catching the bullish control zone, right? This is in a downtrend. And it's very much, the VIX tends to do that, doesn't it? Has done. We can go back, but there's a reason I drew that channel, and it's because it keeps doing that. You know, you can draw it yourself, right? It's like one of those books. And then what was in between? Whoa, surprise, surprise, and then, you know, so, and so on, right? But VIX is VIXy. I mean, people say that technical analysis is astrology for men, but those people that say that are insecure about their own sexuality, and also they're quite ignorant because they don't realize as much of those tools they rely on fundamental analysis literally is based on astrology, like the various business cycles. Like various business cycle theory is based on the movements of planets. You know, like, it's absurd. Whereas technical analysis is an objective approach to the chart, and it's a measure of probabilities, which is also how you should approach risk. Guitar outside, $10. Millionaire maker trying a new screener. SPRB entry 227. SPRB. Superb. Spruce frickin' biosciences. Right, okay. Well, I'm not going to completely go mental. Monthly time frame. Here's a surprise. Weekly time frame. Oh, there's a surprise. Right, so they've had a big move. A very big move. And yeah, sure, you've got bullish divergence, but whatever, right? It's like very much a downtrend with no challenge to that concept at all. You've had bullish divergence 1, 2, 3 touches. You had a move which, in terms of the RSI, you would suggest, oh, look, the trend's changed. Then you go up and look at price action, and it's feeble. It's a feeble reaction with regards to the trend, and that important high to test wasn't really this guy. RSI having held top of the bearish control zone, and that itself being so very weak, you would expect to surpass this dude. But that, in at around $6, that was the test. You're asking for a very big percentage move, so maybe I'm being a bit... asking too much. 270% wasn't enough for spotting. Well, it wasn't enough to change the trend. Only it wasn't really speaking to the potential trade there just now, what we're looking at now. to speak to the fact that that was the opportunity, really. You know, in the context of this thing, if you're ever looking to go long, I mean, that would be a very dangerous move to take. The first touch of it being at the bottom of the bullish bearish control zone there. Likewise, if you were taking it when it came out of that, looking at this as your signal, taking it as it moved out of the bearish control zone, well, price action was then facing this 50 simple period moving average, and desperate there, it died. Came back down, you got your third touch of the bullish divergence, and you were probably going to test that 50 simple from 0.88 to 1.6566. So here's your 100% move. Follow it with a stop in profit, you would probably have that now down at about 1.58. And if price action breaks at 220, which is what very close to doing today at 2.22, that may be what you'll be wary of. So now you're looking at this, and that's how you define your risk, which I can see you did entry at 2.27, which would look like this. 227. Wow. Oh my God, I got it. Wow. That's nice, right? This is obviously a good day. What time is it? Oh no, there's only a few minutes left. Right, so where's your stop? You've got a flash target on a 15-minute, stop loss at 2.12. So you've got a stop loss, which is 8 cents. No, wait a minute. It's 15 cents from your entry, which is what, about 7% or something. That's quite a big chunk, yo. That's quite a big chunk. Stop loss at 2.12. 2.12. Your prior high comes in at around 220. If you did break this level, it's very difficult to say that you would now from here that you would be looking at that. 2.62, 236. If it breaks above there, I'd be interested. Keep an eye on this. With that, if you break 2.16, is this where you're thinking 2.12 is your target's 269, 338, 1339. Oof, from here, shocking. That'd be good. Reason daily MACD and DMI uptick. The daily MACD. That's your reasoning. Okay, that's interesting. Let's check that out. Right, so 227 and then a stop. Well, I mean, I say check that out, but we've already done it. And then your stop's in at around 2. Let me check that. 212. Yep, that's true. 212. Tight, I suppose, right? I suppose. And then where's your first target? 269. Oh, will we be lucky this time? Whoa, it seems unlikely, doesn't it? Oh my God, I saw it there. I saw it. Yes. Right. Wow, that's like amazing, isn't it? See what I did there? Superhuman. So, yeah, what's the risk reward on this guy? 2.8 to 1. Oof, tight, isn't it? That's very tight there. And if we are looking at this, perhaps you would think, you know, could even be better with an entry back down around 216 should price action get there. Having tested it once might make you think, oh my goodness, but it'll never get back. Or if it does get back, then it's just going away. Like, it's just going to go down anyway. So why would I even want that trade? Let's try it from here and stop out if it gets down there, which would be ignoring the risk when you could use that risk. You know, it's be ignoring the risk and dismissing it. You can't dismiss risk just because your trade setup is reasonable, because the frequency of stops being hit will obviously depend on certain conditions, which are, of course, immune to your trading strategy itself. So it's like not just the construction of the trade based on the entry, the exit, and the risk management, but it's also the way in which you apply yourself to these charts, like how frequently you trade, your own ability to wait for those opportunities which most suit the way you trade. All these sort of things are, you know, external to the chart. So maybe there's things we can do there on Discord and chat about that. You know, definitely happy to do that anytime. Discord, 24/7, RO Discord. You go and get free access to the Discord from www.discord.gg/rockyoutcrop, and then you get on the paid side via Rocky's Patreon. So you should check that out. Probably there is a link. There's a link to the Discord in the description below the video, and I'm sure probably gets shared by amazing Lisa, though I don't want to make her go and run around after links, but probably does in the chat box there. So, or Rocky, there he is. There he is. It's been almost 2 weeks. And he isn't trying. I hope he's doing okay. That's cool. Yeah, I hope you're doing okay, Jackie. Let us know. Get in touch. Right. So what was talking about? Guitar outside and the entry, and then we're talking about a little degree of, I wouldn't call it wisdom, but maturity when it comes to trading there. So this Spruce Biosciences. I wish I was a lumberjack, don't you? So don't you wish you were a lumberjack? Yeah, so I mean, you're 382, that's what you're looking at. It would be even better if it came back for a 50% and you got an entry at 185, and then you can use the 50 simple at 1.77, and that's probably better. Maybe you don't get it, but it's still better. And if you don't get it, then there's other things to trade, isn't there? Probably other things that are way better, in fact. But let's see, that Rocky Outcrop Flash does bode well. This stop loss idea, I mean, you've seen yourself, it doesn't always give me that. It just randomly likes to do it. It's a very good palette cleanser, though. It changes the subject pretty quickly, doesn't it? So you're looking at that entry with potentially 185, this 177, and then you're talking a very similar percentage, really. But could manage like a better risk-reward ratio on the trade, and you'll have a moving average to potentially bounce from. And that would maybe even speak to the long-term idea you've got on the go here, because if you are looking for this to move to the top side, then that would be a significant trend change, and you'd look to confirm it on a higher low, having made a higher high. Like this is what we spoke about earlier, right? Guitar Outside's on the Discord, taking the course, really nice guy, always generous to me. So you get like more of my time than somebody who doesn't do all those things, right? So what I would speak to then is, those people who don't hit the like button or aren't watching right now, they should be, right? Because they're getting the benefit of this extra attention from Guitar Outside. But if they don't see the benefit of that, so if you've already gone, screw you. If you're still here, hit that like button. So this was bullish divergent low, and that's why you had this impulse move. You don't necessarily have anything other than the 3 touches of bullish divergence, recovering the bearish control zone, and that's about it, right, in terms of bullish moves here. And you've made what might be everything that could be expected from it, and it could now continue to collapse. So if that wasn't going to happen, you're speaking to moves to the top side from here would break this little structure you've got on, or at least attempt to do so back up at around 450. And if you're doing that, then potentially the trend is changed, right? That's your goal with this trade. And so the best confirmation of that would come and include a higher low having already exceeded this prior high, which would then be this guy, right? Which has exceeded the 236. So the risk is on. The risk is that it could come back to, say, a 50%, at least a 382, which is already done, right? That's confirmed that potential outcome. Now you know that that's already happened. Speaks to the good idea to manage your risk. If it makes it below the 382, that comes to a better value entry and somewhere where it has a more likely bounce because you've got a moving average, which at this point hasn't been tested from the top side, nor has it been tested from below on this impulse move. So if it was a bullish change, then you could see a test of that, and an entry at 185 would then be a better value and maybe get stopped out less. Also, this thing jumping in right now based on a cross on a MACD, which is a momentum signal itself on a daily time frame, suggests you'd be looking for the best entry on a daily time frame because the momentum changes ahead of the price. So often you'll see a higher low and confirmation of that trend. Now, it's a very difficult concept to get your head around. It's counterintuitive to be looking for price to come back to confirm a positive uptrend. But it really isn't. It's actually quite simple, and it's probably quite patronizing to some people to hear it that way. But the truth is, a lot of people arrive at this show, not Guitar Outside, but others, anyone new watching now likely, and you'll have had your head full of crap from people who don't know what they're talking about. Likely, they've managed to garner some credibility
in their vocabulary or the quality of their camera. But in technical analysis, the only real discoveries are those which are built upon the discoveries that have come before, because while it isn't a hard science, the maths and the study of probability, the tools that we use, that very much is. And that comes under an understanding with experience. So time at the markets is time in the markets, and a wise, considered approach helps. You're looking for trend as one of the first things that will provide you with insight into price. That and price itself, probably your primary stop on that tour of analysis. Right, so here we have price action. Look and test that 250 simple period moving average. This is a 5-day time frame, but the thing itself hasn't been around for that long, so maybe I should be dropping down. The 2-day, what are you saying? What even indicator is this? I'm not getting much news there. There's the RSI above the center line. There's the 200 period moving average resistance, 50 simple, looking like if you get to that test of 185, you'll be exceeding that 50 simple. It's below the 200. So you've got a very strong area for data, and a reaction in at those areas is more likely than one in the equidistant between these two moving averages, even though it's an obscure time frame compared to the others. Here's your obscure, perhaps the wrong word. There's the 200 period moving average in the 50 simple, also defining that trade quite well. You're unlikely to make it back above 256 before you've come down and tested in at around 186, 185. So your target of 269. Wheel. Where are you getting that from? 4 hour, where does it explain that? Target 269, 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Well, you do have a rocky outcrop flash in there. Oh, I'm drawing things I didn't mean to. Pardon me. 227, yes. So, I mean, that's good information. You're coming down there. 15 minute, you can see that that would be a failure of this cross. You can see that there'd be a touch of bearish divergence on the most recent highs. And as such, I wouldn't be jumping into it just because we know it's going there. I'd in fact be looking for it to come back and provide me with a little bit of risk management opportunity slightly lower. So I wouldn't get too excited, especially not based on a MACD cross on the daily time frame. And then we looked at VIX, but WISA was good to you. Let's double check WISA. What have you been doing? Oh, nice. Yeah, that's very strong. 30-minute time frame, looking left. That would be natural to slow down. 1 hour, you've got your moving averages, capturing that perfectly. 4 hour, also finding a moving average as you do with the 1 and the 4. Brilliant, that max up there. If you did break up, you can see the next horizontal level to look to, aside from these 627 and $9, would then be the 200 in at around 1250. That'd be very, very strong. You're not getting much previous example of it doing extended moves to the top side, and it's a very strong downtrend. Sure, you've got these flashes back here. You can manage that trade, hopefully by taking your stop in a profit manner, if you've not already taken profit, which from 190 odd to $4, I imagine there were some opportunities within that. Very good, very good. Good to see you doing it too. I hope that was helpful. Guitar outside. You know you can always get in touch with me specifically, and Rocky on the Discord and everybody else. And it'd be great to see how this trade evolves and where you, how you did base what you're going to do there on what I also chipped in with the value there. Hopefully, you know, there's some amalgam or alloy there. You could extract a trade from that information. Rocky outcrop flashes all the time. You can always get a second helping. Yes, a second helping. There's more, always more. So that's a good take around the markets. And I would like to thank everybody who watched the show and hit the like button. I really appreciate it. The biggest help that I can be is sort of direct with one-on-one people. So I hope that to deliver the value so that other people can also take some lessons from it for their own trading. And if you see that and think it's true and are watching along and hit the like button, I really appreciate it. Thanks very much. And if you're able to support the channel by being a member or helping somebody else be one, or passing that favour on, thanks very much. And in particular, I want to thank Kitties, Minner, Go Win to Win, Amanda, freaking Queen, and Guitar Outside for supporting the show today. It's really good. I know it's Mondays aren't traditionally the biggest day for thinking that way. I'm going to support my YouTuber. I'm going to support him on Mondays. Come on, this is what it's all about on Mondays. You know, I can imagine that isn't everybody's first thought when they wake up, but bloody well better be by the time you go to sleep already. Only joking. Thanks very much. See you tomorrow for more of the same.